Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is episode 72. So on today's podcast, we actually have a first. I believe this is the first we've ever had, Hunter. We have a customer joining our podcast, one of our best customers that Oakley Trucking has, and we have a representative of them, Miss Crystal, is going to sit down and talk with us for just a little bit. And we're going to, try to see another side of it, especially for you owner-operators listening, of what's going on at the customers that you provide service to. I think it's going to be a great discussion. Also got Justin Jolly going to hang out with us and chime in a few things on the podcast too, and we're looking forward to that. So, but first, before we get started, I want to reiterate, and I do this every week, on the podcast, that I appreciate you guys listening and giving me feedback. I had one just last night. Rob Johnson, great guy, man. He gave me some feedback, texted me on what he thought would be a good podcast, and we need that. We need that from our owner-operators. Anybody listening that wants to ask a question, send it to me. Hunter will put my cell phone number up on the screen, and you guys can text me. You can send me a message, video, whatever you want, but we want to make sure we're answering your questions, and it's not a stupid question. You think it's a stupid question? It's not. Everybody might want to know the answer to that question, and we'll try to read those on our podcast next week. So appreciate y'all tuning in and doing that. First, now what we started doing here lately is let's get a Oakley update, and it's sponsored by Harold Truck Sales. So the Oakley update on today's episode is we got two or three things here real quick. One is the Baton Rouge dedicated haul that we're doing. We need some owner-operators down there at Baton Rouge. It's a great job. It's a local job. It's actually running in the city of Baton Rouge. And, it's your truck pulling our trailer. We've actually, even on this run, with it being local, we give a little bit on the year model of the truck. I know our standard is 5-year newer tractor, but down there, since this is a local job we're doing, we've hired some older trucks to do that. We've even hired day cabs. So day cab, older truck, if you're interested in Baton Rouge and pulling one of our trailers with your truck down there, home every night. If you live in, 30, 40, 50 miles of Baton Rouge, you can be home every night. You can park your pickup down there and drive home every night if you want. If not, it's a 4-on, 2-day off schedule, so you work 4 and off 2. So keep that in mind. Out of Baton Rouge, we need some owner-operators to run dedicated. Also, want to also talk about 2290s that are due now, since this is the middle of August, getting towards the end of August. Then you guys need to know about your 2290s. And with me is Miss Wendy Peaks to help me explain to you guys what the 2290s are all about and how to go through the process of paying it. So you want to help me out with that, Wendy?
Is that heavy use road tax that it's due every year on every truck that you own. The $550 to the IRS does need to be paid out of your checking account. And then there's an online fee of $9.90 if you use expresstrucktax.com. You can always call Megan Cummings here at the office or myself, and we can assist you in getting that paid and getting a copy to us so we can renew your tag at the end of the year.
How do you assist them? So what do they need when they call in? Handy.
When they call in to me, they just need to know their checking account information to make sure that we verify that we are taking the $550 out of the correct checking account. And then have a credit card or debit card, either one handy for that online fee to express truck tax of $9.90.
Okay. Can it come out of both? The same account?
No, sir. Well, yes, it can, but you have to use the routing number, account number to pay to the IRS, and then gotcha. the online fee is off a card.
Oh, okay.
Any card.
I'm with you. So you got to have the routing number for your checking account.
Correct.
Not a debit card
for the
$550.
For the $550. Correct.
Okay. So just to clarify, we can, if I call you, if I have a debit card, I can't pay the $550 with a debit card?
No, sir.
Got to have the routing number from my checking account.
That is correct.
Okay. And you go to what website?
www.expresstruck roadtax.com.
Okay, so they can do this themselves if they want to. They can just go to that website and set up an account,
Yes, sir.
pay it online, but you're willing to help them
Correct.
walk them through it if that, okay. Need a federal ID number or anything?
Nope, I already have that on file.
Okay, fantastic. Good information, 2290s. When do they do? End of August?
By August 31st, or you start accruing penalties every day, any day after August 31st.
And if it's after August 31st, Wendy's getting mad. So get it paid by the end of August. We got other things to do after that, right?
Yes, sir.
The other thing on the Oakley update is I always like to mention, owner-operator that's been with us a long time and give him some recognition. And the one this month, I was looking through my anniversary list of August, and one stuck out, big time, was Jimmy Murphy, truck number 3785. He's out of Cabot, Arkansas. He goes by Ice Cream. Jimmy Murphy and actually his wife, Pat Murphy, they've just been, just great people. They've worked here for Oakley for 36 years. He started, I looked up his start date, and it was August the 19th, 1985. Isn't that something?
That is awesome.
That is awesome. And, he's got a 2004 Peterbilt. I remember when he bought it brand new. And he's a guy that works local here, basically in Little Rock, and he's home every night. He does a lot of barge work for us. But I'm telling you, he didn't in the beginning. He did a lot of everything in the beginning. He put in his time here. So just a great people, Jimmy and Pat Murphy. We appreciate you. You're a great asset to Oakley Trucking and look forward to even some more years with you. Let's take a quick break and talk about Aero Truck Sales. Keith Wilson and Trey down in Springfield, Missouri, those guys do a fantastic job on selling trucks to owner-operators that are looking to come on to Oakley Trucking, and just want to make sure you guys know about them. We've dealt with them a long time. They are no leases, straight financing, specialize in first-time truck buyers, 5-year or newer tractors, all makes and models, less than 400,000 miles. They run a great program there. The best thing I like about them is service after the sale. Be sure and tell them you heard all this on the Oakley Podcast, and they'll also give you a choice of $600 worth of fuel or $600 truck accessories, or they'll pay half your first month payment if you finance with transport funding. Check them out. Call Keith Wilson at Aero Truck Sales, 573-216-6047. Give them a call and let them know you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. Okay, let's get started with this week's podcast, and we are joined with Justin Jolly, works at Port 33, Oakley Port 33 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, hanging out with us. What's going on, Jolly? You doing okay?
Sir, doing pretty good.
Also joining Justin Jolly is Miss Crystal Clements, production planner at Malarkey Roofing out of Oklahoma City. How are you doing, Miss Crystal?
I'm well. Thanks for having me today.
You bet. I really appreciate you doing this. This is a first, to hear from a customer, to get the actual lowdown of what's going on, at Malarkey Roofing and Oakley.
I got all the secrets.
It's all the secrets. I know it. It's good stuff, man. I appreciate you doing it. I think it's going to be good stuff. But first, before we get started, let's start with you, Miss Crystal. Introduce yourself so our listeners have an idea of who they're talking to.
Okay. My name is Crystal Clements. I work for Malarkey Roofing Products. I've been here for almost a decade. So since the conception of the Oklahoma City plant, I've been in this position. A little bit about Malarkey. We are a family-owned company. The president of our company is actually a Malarkey. It is a family name. So it would be nothing for me to pick up the phone and call him or a COO. We are a very tight-knit, close family, especially in Oklahoma City. And then we have, a plant in Portland and one in Southgate. My position here is for the production planner is I control the trucks that come in and out. Any kind of material that is due in to make a roofing shingle, I oversee anything inbound to make that. So we control about 120 trucks that roll in and out of this facility in about a 24-hour period. So needless to say, we're busy would be an understatement. You guys know you can roll that many too or more.
That is a lot. Now, you live there in Oklahoma City?
I do. I live here in Oklahoma City. I have a daughter who goes to school at UCO. I am married, and she will be a senior this year. So when she graduates, I get a big raise. I'm excited about that.
Fantastic. That does help. You know what I did when my kids got out of
Right.
school? Well, one of them got out of school. The other one, he just got a job. You know what I did?
What?
Put in a pool. Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah. They said, hey, Dad, what's the deal? I mean, we're out, we're gone, and now you're putting in a pool? I said, that's exactly right, son. You're gone.
right.
Me and Mom's putting in a pool. Good stuff.
Good for you.
What about
Good
you?
for you.
Thanks. What about you, Justin Jolly? Tell us about you.
Well, I've been at Oakley for be 16 years this year. Terminal manager here at Port 33 in Catoosa. Just oversee the operations here of the truck side. We run hoppers and end dumps out of here, and done a little bit of everything at Oakley since I've been here. So started out in North Little Rock and moved up here. I guess it's been 7 years now. So been going good.
And you were on a podcast earlier this year, wasn't you? Earlier this year you were on a podcast. We did.
I was. Yeah, we did one with Justin Oakley and talked a little bit about the terminal and kind of what we do here. A little bit about the trucking side in Oklahoma and out of the terminal. So we covered a lot of that. We weren't our YouTube. We didn't have video at that time. We weren't that high tech like we are now. So ours is just an audio YouTube out there.
We sometimes that's for the better. You know what, Jolly? But not in your case. We need you on camera. I mean, we got.
I agree 100%.
You know, I was actually going through the Malarkey website today, Crystal, this morning, just to get a little more familiar with that. And it's pretty impressive website that you've got. And I was just what you hit on a while ago. I was looking at the history of Malarkey and, you know, when it started. And I think it was like in 1956. I mean, that's a long time. And as you said, the Malarkeys are running it, you know, and it almost sounded similar to Oakley, you know, as I was reading through some of it, because you've expanded now, and then the Oklahoma City plant came up in 2011, I think it said on there. So I don't know, it's just some similarities of it being family owned along with Oakley. We're family owned, and it just seemed like a good connection. You know, how did the relationship get started with Oakley Trucking?
Our plant manager, Jay Crest, actually had a relationship with Oakley in his previous job. So when he got here, we took on Oakley as our granule carrier. And to be honest with you, it was just a perfect fit. I mean, you said it right. We're both family owned, you know, small town kind of things, but just moving and grooving. I think that we've grown a lot together between the two of us, expanding, moving, and we have a really great relationship. We trust them, they trust us. It works well. So Jay was the start of it all, and then handed it off to me, and it just kind of took off with it. And it's easy to work with you guys. I mean, there's nothing we haven't asked for. It's been crazy that you haven't said no to, which has been a lot. But no, it's been a great relationship since the beginning.
And I guess, Justin, you deal with Crystal most of the time. Is that how you're the point of contact?
Yes. Yeah, it was Brian Hill for a long time, and Brian is still a point of contact for her as well. You know, but we kind of transitioned it over since I was here in Oklahoma, you know, to be able to have that point of contact. And if something really major was going on and I needed to go to the plant, it would be really easy for me to go over there. So just kind of having a local presence here in Oklahoma, and you know, just trying to take some of that on to help alleviate, you know, some stuff off other people. So give them time to focus on some other things. So yeah, we've, I guess probably about 5 years now, 5 or 6 years, we've been kind of dealing with each other, and was dealing with them before that, just not in the capacity that we are now. So.
Well, I would imagine with that many trucks coming through, Crystal, in a 24-hour period, I mean, it's got to be hard planning all that. I mean, that's got to be a challenge, I guess, that you have to do every day. As a truck driver out there listening, how do they play a part in that process?
Just being that consistent driver that comes in, things are clean, delivering the right product, the right time, right paperwork. It is really important when you have so many trucks rolling in and out of here and so many different products and different people unloading. I think our unloaders here create a really good relationship with the drivers, which is really, really important to both sides. They share cell phone numbers, they're in constant communication with each other. And, if there's any time that a driver needs something from us, we can unload them early, or if we need to delay things, they do that as well. It's a good relationship that we've done. But yeah, drivers just doing what they need to do to get things in here. It's a busy place, and to be patient on both sides.
How's that work on your end, Jolly? I mean, as far as you got to understand what Crystal needs, and then you've got to communicate that to the owner-operator, right, the truck driver.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we, the way it basically works with Malarkey is they send us a schedule for the following week, usually by Wednesday, sometimes Thursday morning. They might have some things going on over there, so it might delay a little bit, but most of the time on Wednesday. And we pretty much know what their needs are going to be for the following week. So what I do is I look at that and, make sure that that we have the trucks to line up to take care of what they're going to be expecting us to deliver on time. And they'll send us a schedule of loading appointments for each of those colors that they're ordering to Malarkey. So, and then we look at that schedule. We make sure that they're not putting anything on there crazy, like a load at 5 o'clock and deliver at 6 o'clock, something that just isn't attainable, which very, very rarely ever happens. But, and then, then we're at that point lining up trucks to, it starts by picking up on time. So we've got to be on time for the pickup at 3 a.m. so that we can get loaded and get in and out of there in a decent amount of time. And then usually we have a little bit of lead time in there, and then, making sure that we're making that delivery on the other end at the time that Malarkey's expecting us to be there. So, and if anything is delaying in there, then we're in constant communication with Crystal or Kyle Gray now. So to let them know of delays. And it's really important that we get that communication from the owner operator so that we can communicate that to our customers, because they're expecting us to be there at a certain time. And if there's delays, well, there's things they can do on their end to try to accommodate that sometimes, most of the time, right? I would say, they can do some things to accommodate if something's going to be an hour or two delayed. But what we don't want to do is delay it so much where they have to shut down their production and waiting on us, and not have that communication to them. So that key part of what the owner operator plays there as far as the communication aspect of it so that we can communicate it to a customer is very vital in everything that we're doing to keep their plant running, make sure they don't shut down. All those things are going to come into play.
How bad is it, Crystal, if we contaminate a load?
Bad. If a load is pretty bad.
Well, and the reason I'm asking is because the owner operator that's handling your product needs to know, if they don't do their due diligence, what kind of problems does it cause?
So, a typical scenario is, you guys haul a lot of fertilizer. So if there's some kind of fertilizer that's in a truck, and we'll say we haul a 51 black, which is the darkest black that they have, and it comes in and it gets in our silo with that white fertilizer in that black silo, it's just contaminated that entire silo when we put it inside there. Also, if we don't catch it and it gets into our system, and it gets into our asphalt tank, it actually starts to bubble and it heats and it becomes an unsafe environment for our guys. So we actually have to shut everything down. But that silo, if it's contaminated, we shut it down and it's unoperational until we can get everything drained and everything cleaned out, which is a very long process. Very long process. So it's super important for trucks to be clean.
Yeah, I think sometimes we don't realize what kind of problems that can cause down the road and what kind of expense it can cause the customer. So that's why I ask that, question so they can hear the answer to that, and we can too, which we know it, but a lot of times we have to communicate that to our owner operators, and it makes a big difference.
Right. And Crystal, and Jeremy, if I can piggyback off that a little bit and explain about color to color, because you don't just take one color. You're taking 7, probably sometimes 8 different variables of different colors, and they all have a different shade, and they all serve a different purpose. So if a guy has 51 in his trailer and he's bringing a color 76, what's that? I mean, obviously it's probably not going to boil over and explode your tank, but what's that do for your runs on that shingle that you're making?
The same situation. When I schedule a run, we schedule specific colors to come in for the colors that we're running on the shingle. So if a silo is contaminated, then that limits us to what we can run. So not only have you contaminated the truck that was in the main color, but the additive that was in the truck. So in our specific blend, we can't run those colors. Because if you have a 51 and a 76, completely different colors, we have a lot of blended colors that don't have those colors together. So we have to shut the silo down. We have to drain it into 3,000-pound bags. And then we have to put all of those bags into what we call headlap, which is just a general color that we use. And it can shut the line down depending on how much product is in that silo. If it is a 125-ton silo, it would take us all day to drain it.
Wow.
All day.
How much product causes that? Like, is it a handful?
If we're talking black and white granules, yes. It depends on the color. If you're talking 71 and 76, there's not a lot of color difference in that, but we still will have to shut it down. Sometimes we can run blends up that have those 2 colors in it and kind of hide that, but a black and white, no way. You can't hide that. We have to send somebody either down under the top of the tank and vacuum the granules out, or we have to drain it depending on how much is put into the silo.
Well, that's. I'm really glad you said that, because I wanted to understand. It helps me understand the process of what you're doing there and how big a role the truck driver plays in that part, and making sure that the trailer's clean, the product's clean, and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. As far as that, or you said earlier that our drivers have a relationship with the guys out, I guess, at the unloading facility. Do you get good reviews about Oakley owner-operators and our service? What is the jury still out on that, or y'all got confidence in it?
No, we've had multiple people that have been in an unload position that helps the guys, and it is a great relationship. Maybe out of the hundreds of drivers we've maybe had one complaint, maybe in the 10 years I've been here. We just like Oakley as a Malarkey, we expect things different. We expect to have good quality products. We expect to have our employees be safe, and we hold things to those high standards. And I think Oakley does too. That's why the relationship works.
Perfect. I was also this is off the main subject there, but as I was looking at that website, I noticed something that got my interest. What in the heck is a smog reducing shingle?
Malarkey is always on the cutting edge of technology. We actually designed shingles into the metric shingle, which is the standard now. We designed the copper granule with 3M that creates algae from growing on your roof. So this was the next step in the Malarkey kind of invention. We were in Time magazine for this. We partnered up with 3M, and we created a smog eating granule. So one roof can actually save smog from an entire forest when you put on, and it is in every product that we make. Malarkey believes in recycling. We recycle actually 96% of the material that we bring into the plant gets used for some kind of recycling or some extra manufacturing that we do here. So we really do believe in trying to save the earth as long as putting good product out there and making it safe as well. So that's what the smog eating granule does. It's pretty great. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. When I saw that, it sure got me interested. I had to look into that. I thought, what in the world is this? And exactly what you said there. So, what I guess the roofing business is booming right now. It seems to be. So, the outlook in the future is still looking great.
We actually just opened up a second production line here at this plant. So our capacity out of here has doubled, and Oakley went right along with us. We can't make enough product at this time. We are backlogged until 2022. So we are sitting pretty. It's good to be a Malarkey right now. It's good to be in the roofing or construction industry right now and building and making good products and having good people to support us. It's really important for us.
Well, that's great to hear, because that's it does look good in the future, and all business right now is looking really good. So, and we appreciate you being a great customer of ours. Jolly, what do you got to add? Anything?
Same thing. We've had a very long-standing relationship with Malarkey Roofing since the inception of the Oklahoma City branch, and it's been a very easy relationship. A lot of support on both sides. We've had situations where drivers have broke down, and we've been able to dolly a trailer down at their facility, for sometimes 2 weeks while the guy's getting fixed. And you don't have. We have a lot of customers that support us, but to go to those measures has been, something that is a tremendous asset to have that type of relationship with a customer. Our drivers have very good relationships with the unloaders out there. It's the same as what Crystal said. You hear things about customers as well sometimes, but that relationship there, we just don't hear very much. And if we do, it's an easy conversation between Crystal and I, whether it's on our end or their end, and we try to figure out what we need to do to fix it. So we don't. It's not immediately well, he did it or she did it or whatever. It's let's come to a solution and let's work through the problem, and everybody needs to get along. And it's just been a good relationship. It's when I use the word easy relationship, it's not to be taken lightly. It's very smooth running. We just do not have very many problems. Very consistent customer. Even last year, when we had some challenges with some of the industries, they were the ones that were very consistent through the whole process. So, it's just been a really good relationship that we've had for, I guess, close to 10 years now. So, and, certainly look forward to the future and trying to support all their growing needs that they have. Hopefully Crystal won't drive us too crazy. I've lost all my hair, so I can't pull any more out. I'm on the sides now. So, you gotta make sure you take it easy on me just a little bit. So, don't add a third line. That'll do it all. That'll wipe it all out. Oh,
that's true. That is true.
So, but it's been really, really good. We rib each other quite a bit, and go back and forth. So, it's all right that we're doing it now. So I don't get a lot of leeway with Crystal. I mean, if I say something wrong, she's going to get me on it. So I got to be careful sometimes. So
got to keep you in line, Jolly.
That's right.
That's right. Well, good stuff.
It's been very,
really
very good.
Yes, and we appreciate it so much. I tell you, Crystal, it's great having a customer, and you're the first one to ever come on the Oakley Podcast, and we appreciate the update and and doing everything you do. I mean, it just to hear from a customer is always, we should have done this a long time ago. I mean, it just feels good to know that relationship's working and how big a role the Oakley owner-operator plays in the whole process at Malarkey too, and we sure appreciate your business. I know our owner-operators appreciate the business too. So thank you guys for
thank you guys.
You bet. Thanks for hanging out with us a little while today and doing the Oakley Podcast. And remember, guys, if you got any questions about the Oakley Podcast, something you want to hear, anything you want to talk about, you let me know and we'll get it done. Remember, it's the Oakley Podcast, trucking, business, and family. That's what we do here, and we appreciate you listening. We'll talk to you next week.